For decades during tumor surgery, surgeons often have to wait for tissue testing to confirm for margins. The lab results can take anywhere from 20 to 90 minutes, or even more. The patient and the surgeon must wait in the operating room until the lab results are ready. What if the wait was 10 seconds? This is the MasSpec Pen. It was created by a Brazilian chemist, a pen that can help tell the difference between cancer tissue and healthy tissue, right there in the operating room, before the surgeon even closes the incision. Meet Dr. Lívia Schiavinato Eberlin. She grew up in Campinas, in the interior of São Paulo. She studied chemistry at Unicamp, one of Brazil's top universities, before earning her PhD at Purdue University in the United States and doing postdoctoral research at Stanford. Today, she's a professor at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas, and she leads her own startup called MasSpec Pen Technologies, dedicated to one mission: giving surgeons a superpower they've never had before. Her invention, the MasSpec Pen, has been called one of the most promising medical innovations of the past decade, and as of November 2025, Brazil became only the second country in the world to begin official clinical testing of the device at Hospital Israelita Albert Einstein in São Paulo. When asked about what drives her, Lívia has been clear. She once said, "My dream was always to bring this technology to Brazil." Seeing this project take shape in Brazilian hospitals is proof that innovation made by scientists from our country can have global impact. From Campinas to Stanford, from Stanford to a surgical room in São Paulo. This is the story of how a pen is rewriting the rules of cancer surgery. To understand why the MasSpec Pen is such a big deal, you need to understand the nightmare surgeons face in every cancer operation. When a surgeon removes a tumor, they have to make a judgment call. How far do I cut? Cut too little and cancer cells are left behind. The cancer comes back. The patient needs another surgery, more chemo, more radiation. Cut too much and you destroy healthy tissue. In lung cancer, that means losing breathing capacity. In thyroid surgery, which is a complex area dense with nerves, it can mean a lifetime of hormonal disorders or permanent hoarseness. Right now, the best tool surgeons have for guidance is called a frozen section analysis, or in Brazil, the exame de congelação. Here's how it works. A piece of tissue is removed, rushed to a lab, frozen solid, sliced into ultra-thin strips, and examined under a microscope by a pathologist. That process takes anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour and a half. During that entire time, the patient is still open on the table, still under anesthesia, and the clock is ticking. And even then, even experienced pathologists can struggle because freezing distorts tissue structure, making the analysis less reliable. As Lívia Eberlin herself has explained, with the pen, the result comes in seconds, directly from the operating room, and the surgeon immediately knows if they need to remove more. Okay, here's the part where we get into the science. But don't worry, Lívia Eberlin herself described it in the most elegant way possible. She said, "It's like making coffee." Let me explain. The surgeon presses the tip of the MasSpec Pen against the tissue they want to test. This could be the edge of a tumor, the margin, where they need to know if cancer is still present. The pen releases a microscopic drop of sterile water, tinier than a teardrop. This tiny droplet sits on the tissue surface and begins absorbing organic compounds from the cells below. Just like hot water extracts flavor and aroma from coffee grounds, this droplet extracts molecular information from the tissue without cutting it, damaging it, and destroying a single cell. That now loaded droplet is instantly drawn through a thin tube into a device called a mass spectrometer. In the Brazilian trials, the specific machine used is the Orbitrap 240, supplied by Thermo Fisher Scientific. Here's the magic. The mass spectrometer weighs and identifies the molecules in that tiny drop. Cancer cells have a different molecular fingerprint than healthy cells. They produce unique combinations of lipids and metabolites that healthy tissue simply doesn't have. The mass spectrometer maps these molecules and creates what researchers call a chemical signature, almost like a barcode of what's inside that tissue. That molecular barcode is instantly compared by artificial intelligence against a database of thousands of catalog tissue samples: cancerous, healthy, normal, tumor. A result appears on the screen, normal tissue or tumor tissue, in about 10 to 90 seconds. The entire process, from touch to answer. No cutting, no freezing, no waiting, no damage. And accuracy rates above 96% for breast, lung, thyroid, and ovarian tumors, based on U.S. clinical data published in Science Translational Medicine. In thyroid surgery specifically, a 2023 study published in JAMA Surgery showed the device achieving over 92% accuracy in one of the most nerve-dense, surgically complex areas of the human body. As of late 2025, Brazil has officially joined the United States as one of only 2 countries in the world formally evaluating this technology. The clinical trial at Hospital Albert Einstein in São Paulo is following 60 patients over 24 months, 30 with lung cancer and 30 with thyroid cancer. These 2 types were chosen because of their surgical accessibility and because the AI algorithm for identifying them is already the most mature. The team in Brazil isn't just validating what the Americans found, they're pushing the science further. Researchers at Einstein are investigating whether the MasSpec Pen can also detect immunological biomarkers in tumors. What does that mean in plain language? They want to know if the pen can read not just is this cancer, but also how is this patient's immune system responding to the cancer, and eventually, how likely is this tumor to come back? As Dr. Kenneth Gollob, head of the Translational Immuno-Oncology Laboratory at Einstein, explained, the goal is to minimize the need for additional surgeries because the surgeon can identify exactly how far to resect the tissue, and it's faster than any standard test. If validated, the MasSpec Pen wouldn't just detect cancer. It could become an instant prognostic tool, giving doctors a real-time picture of tumor behavior before the patient even leaves the operating room. So, who stands to benefit from this technology? Cancer patients. The most obvious answer: patients facing lung, thyroid, breast, and ovarian surgeries are already in the research scope. Future studies will expand to liver tumors and more. Any cancer surgery where margins matter, which is most of them, is a potential use case. Surgeons. They gain something priceless: certainty. Instead of making educated guesses at the margin of a tumor, they can make data-driven decisions in real time. Less second-guessing, fewer follow-up surgeries, patients who stay awake during surgery. Some procedures, particularly thyroid surgeries, are performed while patients are conscious. The MasSpec Pen can dramatically reduce the emotional burden of waiting for a pathology result while you're lying on the table aware of everything happening around you. Healthcare systems. Fewer repeat surgeries means lower costs. Shorter time under anesthesia means fewer anesthesia complications. Faster results mean more procedures can be completed per day. The future of oncology. Beyond the operating room, researchers envision a world where this technology could one day complement or even partly replace traditional anatomical pathology analysis. Cancer diagnosis that takes weeks reduced to seconds. Experts stress that traditional pathology remains essential for complex cases and complete molecular classification. The pen is a complement, not a replacement, for now. After these trials conclude, the technology will go through approval processes at the FDA in the United States and Anvisa in Brazil. Those are the regulatory bodies that greenlight new medical devices. It's a process that takes time, but the trajectory is clear. A girl from Campinas studied chemistry at Unicamp. She went to Purdue, she went to Stanford, and then she invented a pen that reads cancer. The MasSpec Pen is a reminder that science doesn't have a passport requirement, and that sometimes the most revolutionary tools look deceptively simple. Just a pen, a drop of water, and 10 seconds of truth. If you believe that Brazilian science deserves more of the world's attention, share this video and leave a comment. Subscribe for stories about science that matter, and I'll see you in the next one.